Episode 9, Uncle B and Top G. Okay, by the way, what do you guys think of the brand new studio? Please comment below and let us know. We are very proud. It's the brainchild between Mr. George, LZ, and I was here for moral support, but I love the way that it came out. Thank you, sir.
Looks epic, absolutely epic. I think it's gonna change the content because we're now closer to the ground.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah. It feels like a news studio. Feels like I should be presenting the 9 o'clock news very soon. By the way, close to you, we're fitting another one of these panels with a TV that will come out. So LZ will be in real time getting us updates and questions answered and whatever we need from you, Els. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Control room.
It looks epic.
I'm very excited. Blue lights. It's really cool. We're going to do some magical things. By the way, there is a person, very, very influential person in the South African business context that we'll be interviewing in January. He's a real A++ business person.
Can't wait.
I can't reveal the name yet, but he has on text agreed that he's coming in early Jan. So that will be our first one together.
Can't wait. I know who it is, but you're going to want to watch this one.
Absolutely. Self-made billionaire.
Yep. It's one of the reasons you did the studio like this,
yes,
so that we can fit other people in.
100%. Yeah. 4 seats. We're going to have some cool conversations. In the context of cool conversations, 4 topics today. First one, Nissan. And in terms of data, you've got cool data that you're going to present to us. We're going to debate back and forward why they are where they are currently. And ratings and reviews.
Yep.
What are the advantages for the South African consumer buying a pre-owned vehicle going forward? It's never been this good before.
Never.
Ratings and reviews. Survivorship bias. This is a concept that I'd heard of a long time ago. You brought it up again. It is, just stick around for this part because it will identify so many leaks in your life, whether it be finance, personal fitness, faith, whatever. It will really open your eyes to things that you were perhaps overlooking and that have cost you money, that have cost you relationships, that have cost you your health. This is going to be an eye-opener. And then Musk's management style.
This I'm interested in. I'm always trying to improve my management style. So I've learned a few things over the last couple of days, being Christmas and all. And you never stop reading. So that's all I could say.
The book is the Walter Isaacson's autobiography of Elon Musk. It's a must. I think he lived with him for how many months?
It was 6 months or something.
6 months.
Yeah, it was months.
Where he was literally next to him the whole time.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Let's get into it.
Yep.
Ready.
Freddy. Let's go. So first of all Nissan. I mean, I'm sure that most people have read that Nissan is now in some hot water and at risk of leaving the South African market.
Yeah.
Had its record back in 2017 and grew sales by 44% and has captured almost 20% of the bakkie market. I'm pretty sure everybody can remember their Nissan NP200.
Yeah.
The Nissan X-Trail.
Yeah.
Nissan
the 1400
Navara,
bakkie.
The 1400 bakkie. I mean, these are iconic vehicles. The Nissan Micra.
Yeah.
As a small vehicle.
Yeah.
Why? What has happened to Nissan that has caused this absolute slide?
So I think a couple of things. We speak of bureaucracy. This is becoming complacent, becoming soft, sitting in a high ivory tower. I've got the name here somewhere. So Nissan lost their CEO in a very wicked way. I'm going to give you the name now. Carlos Ghosn. If I butchered the name, forgive me. But he was the company CEO for 18 years. He was arrested in Japan, allegedly for financial fraud. He fled to Israel.
Yeah.
So he never got convicted or was proven innocent or guilty. But I think from what I've researched about him, he was the he was the conqueror. He was the Genghis Khan of Nissan. We point there and we go and conquer and we take over and we make this ours. Once he left, that was back in 2018. So notice, record 2017, Nissan sales in South Africa. 2018, he leaves the company. Very weird circumstances. There's lots of documentaries you can go and watch. He was an interesting character, but he leaves the company and then everything declined. So I think what he had built, bureaucrats went and took over. They sat in chairs that were soft and cushy, and they had lots of cash. They were very liquid, and they thought, okay, let's just continue the way that we are going. But if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So on that note, if you look at what you said, the Nissan hardbody for its time, revolutionary. I mean, the first electric car in South Africa was
the Leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now Nissan makes 0 electric cars. Nissan also makes 0 cars that are both electric and battery. So they revolutionized that industry. Perhaps, in my opinion, they were a little bit early, but no one picked up the baton and ran with it.
Well, I mean, the Nissan Leaf, yes, it was early, but what does early mean? I mean, I'll give you an example from Autotrader. Back in 2013, 2012, 2013, we decide that in our infinite wisdom, George needs to fly to the United States of America. You all know the NADA. And I see this revolutionary piece of software called V-Auto.
V, like
V,
the
as
letter
in V-Auto. Yes. Designed and conceptualized by a gentleman by the name of Dale Pollock.
Okay.
I've met Dale Pollock a number of times. I had a few conversations with him. Blind guy.
Blind person.
Blind. Okay. Everything he does has to be imagined and recorded. He's written multiple books. I just think it's a feat of magic to be able to do what he's done. Created the software company. I'll go over there, have a look, understand it, meet Dale Pollock, meet the team. At that time, I was really good friends with lots of key industry players. Still am with most of them. So I got access to stuff that was happening in America from a marketplace platform point of view, very, very early. Come back to South Africa. Now, V-Auto is flying, right? Come back to South Africa, and we decide we've got to do this.
Okay.
We this is something the South African market's gonna
first to market. Let's go.
Let's build this first to market. Build this piece of software. We called it Auto Fusion.
Okay, we use Auto Fusion.
Well, you use a version of what was Auto Fusion. Okay. We build Auto Fusion, totally separate piece of software, does everything V-Auto can do.
Okay.
Because the concepts are not proprietary.
Okay.
There were no trade issues or trademark issues or privacy issues or patent issues. You can't patent the software.
So the idea is very cool, innovative. It works, and we're just going to filter it down and make it suitable for South Africa.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Make it South African because for a marketplace like Autotrader, not difficult to replicate. So we do it. I think we got to 10% penetration in the dealer market using the software.
How quickly?
Probably about 3 or 4 years.
Okay, that's
slow.
That's low.
So that's my point. Okay, we did not get scale in this piece of software. Right. It turns out years later, okay, because now we've got almost 100% penetration in this software, and maybe the majority of dealers actually use it.
Okay.
And there were 2 things. One was how early we were. We built this piece of software way too early for the South African market. It wasn't.
We weren't ready for it.
The South African dealer was not ready for that piece of software. Fast forward to today, it's now called, in your dashboard, it's called the profitability metrics.
Yeah. Recently
updated from the name Fusion.
Yeah. Very, very, very good piece of tech. Very good.
Very good piece of tech.
Very good.
Most dealers are using it now. Okay. But the thing we learned was we were too early. Okay. And we shouldn't have built a separate brand.
So you marketed this as AutoFusion. It's a
sub brand of Autotrader. We shouldn't have built a separate brand.
So this is part of your Autotrader package, and you get this as a benefit from being let's say a first tier customer, because you pay more, you qualify for this.
Not back then.
Not back
sold
then.
Totally separate.
Okay, and that's how it evolved.
And then it evolved into what it is today.
Got you.
I mean, you've seen it. You've seen the
magic
software. But my point with the Nissan Leaf, though, is it is quite often the case that innovators, market leaders, come to market early with new technologies, new products, new services. But understanding why something failed, because just because it's a failure doesn't mean it's a failure.
Maybe it's a temporary failure. We're not ready for it. Park it on the shelf and then pick it up when the time feels better.
Yes, we didn't deprecate the product, so we didn't take it out of the market. We continued to learn.
Okay.
So while it did not reach scale, and our market penetration wasn't where we thought it would be, we had a couple of hundred dealers on the product eventually. We learned a hell of a lot of lessons, not only in the software itself. We learned pricing algorithms. We learned how to stock the market. We learned there's a whole lot of underlying things that we learned as a result of bringing a product to market early,
which wasn't even available in the States as the initial product, was it?
Yes, it was. It was available as vAuto.
Okay, I understand.
But the thing is, Autotrader in the States, vAuto launched as a separate entity, and Autotrader bought vAuto.
Okay.
That's why it was a separate brand.
Got you.
But in South Africa, it was too early, number one. Shouldn't have been a sub-brand, number two. But the benefit that we got was we learnt. And I think it took us 5 to 10 years ahead of anyone else because of the stuff we learnt out of a potential failure.
Agree, but you didn't park it.
But we didn't. They did, and that's my crossover.
Yeah.
Is Nissan? Did Nissan park the Leaf and the learnings? Because they would have been ahead of probably even Tesla.
My friend, I think they parked the whole company. Never mind the Leaf. They parked the whole bloody
Parallel
thing.
parked.
They parked, locked, drained all the fuel, and then ran away. Because if you look at what made them successful, it was the Nissan Patrol, still around. Have they innovated much? Debatable. It's the X-Trail. It's a good car. We sell lots of them. It's a good car.
Design hasn't evolved.
No, the tech hasn't evolved. It feels old. When you sit in an X-Trail, it's the old 2.5 motor. That thing drinks petrol like it's its main job, and it's not. The main job is to commute your family, not to drink petrol. It's a reliable car. It won't break and won't leave you next to the road, but it's not evolved. Hard body. I mean, the technology in a hard body is.
And the Nissan Patrol rivaled the Toyota
Land Cruiser. Yeah, like the VX200. That top spec. Outside of the UAE, where they almost get petrol for free, I don't know of many places that buy them at scale. South Africa, you see one or two. You'll have better data, but are they really traded that much? I don't think so. And because of that, what happened is they became old. It's an old fleet. It's good cars, but they lost that magic of the Genghis Khan. Let's go and conquer everybody there. Oh, there's a great new designer. He designed a good product. Okay, maybe poach him, maybe learn from them, maybe deploy that technology and make it better into this, like you guys did. Didn't park it and ran away. You learned, and boom, when the timing was right, it was deployed correctly.
But I think it was what you said in the beginning, which is don't let bureaucrats get in control of your company.
Yeah.
Because the spreadsheet jockeys,
yeah,
and the bureaucrats and the consultants, no disrespect to consultants, the consultants will screw up your business.
Yeah. So how do you, I heard this about the Jaguar ad, it brilliantly explained. How does that happen? And the guy said, if you put a bunch of, what's worse than a stupid person making a decision? A bunch of very smart people making a decision, because eventually they'll all convince each other that this is the right direction. And even though they're all smart, they become dumb in a room because there's too many smart people. And the consultants do that.
Yeah.
Let's go with this direction because historically this has proven to work, and it did for a long time.
Well, there's this typical language in bureaucratic companies. It's called the benchmark.
Oh, yes.
I can hate that term, the benchmark.
This is the benchmark, and we need to be there or above, slightly above. While the competitor's benchmark is like light years ahead of you eventually, and you can't compete.
You know, so has this happened to Nissan? You think it happened after that CEO left?
I think so. I think he was back to that book, Barbarians to Bureaucrats. He was the barbarian. He was the Genghis Khan. Let's go kill everybody. Let's go be innovative and have the newest technology, have it work properly, or at least be first to market, learn from the mistakes, and then improve. When the bureaucrats, the guys with the fancy degrees, entered and sat on those squishy chairs, being so liquid, having so much money in the bank, and saying, okay, let's continue this way, and we'll look around eventually to see. And somebody just ate their lunch. I mean, and this realistically cost people jobs.
Yeah, it did. I think that Nissan lost their way because they lost that innovative edge that potentially that CEO brought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you say, the barbarian. Let's go and conquer.
Let's go. And I saw recently, like a day or two ago, I'm not sure of the figures, but it seems like Honda has signed a contract with Nissan to take over and to basically dilute the company into one and continue with injecting some of the technology that they've built with EVs, with battery and engine assisted cars, and hopefully that brand doesn't die, because some of the most iconic cars have come from this, and I would really not like, I mean, it's just here, it's around the corner from us, the plant. Many of the senior managers have become my friends. I've sold cars to them, I've bought cars from them, and every time I engage them, their shoulders are down and like, it's sad, we don't know what to do, and it's just poor leadership. That's all it is.
No, it's always a poor leadership.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's got to lead that company into war and into battle. I mean, one of the Boxberg Ferraris comes out of this.
Yeah, 100%, my friend. Yeah, no matter what you drive on the road, there's a 1400 bucky with one or other version of a Toyota Twin Cam with a big turbo engine that will drive past you. 100%.
The GTR.
The GTR, that's a proper car.
You know, I mean, so there's been some really good cars come out of this, and it's sad.
I hope they figure it out. Just the last stat we've got here, 1,600 staff that were employed, and currently in 2024, down 400 that had to be retrenched. And another thing, just to bring perspective of what the actual losses are, Q4 2024, Nissan, the holding company, had to pump back into incentives 99% of all profitability to get the cars out of the showrooms.
Gee whiz.
So every single cent that they had in that vehicle from selling it as a new car was given as incentive to try and get rid of the cars that they had already built. That's disaster. That's not a long-term plan.
Well, let's hope Honda can bail them out. Didn't a similar thing happen with Ford and Mazda?
Yes. Mazda, very much the same bureaucratic approach. Wonderful cars. Sorry. CX-3, CX-5, awesome car. It's just
But that's
old.
only later.
It's just old. Even it's happening now. It's old. You've got
happening again.
It's happening again. So haven't you learned from your mistakes? The likes of the Chinese brands, and we've discussed this at length, come in with great camera systems, smaller capacity engines, turbo assisted. They're not the most fuel efficient, but they are as slightly better even than some of the old gen engines. The
For the
2 liters.
size of the car,
Yeah,
it's
not
actually
bad.
not bad.
Oh, you've been driving a Chinese
Beijing.
a Beijing, yes. You took me for a drive earlier.
Courtesy of Mid-Mac Motors.
No, red seats, sunroof. It's appealing at that price range. We discussed at that price range. It's appealing.
It's appealing, and I think you will be surprised climbing into a Chinese vehicle. Positively surprised. Climbing into a Chinese vehicle.
Whether or not you buy a second one, that's time will show.
It depends. I think you will buy a second one if you want a disproportionate luxury for what you pay.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can afford the real iconic German brands, then you're going to pay for long-lasting luxury.
Yes.
A BMW 3 Series is going to still be solid in 6 or 7 years' time.
Yeah. And time will show us how solid the Alphas and the Cherries and the Beijings are.
Yes.
In that time. Awesome. Are we going to park this on one side? Leave it to Honda to pick it up and run with it.
Let's hope Honda. It'll be sad if Nissan if something happens to it.
Very, very. I think they've got so much infrastructure all over the world. It will be. I think they'll be okay. Whether or not they'll be a real contender in the future, time will tell.
Is it a case of too big to fail?
I think so. I literally think so. Definitely.
So then Honda will get it right.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Yeah. Topic 2.
Ratings and reviews. So if you haven't seen it, go onto autotrader.co.za and let us know what you think of ratings and reviews. But launched early December and been a work in progress for the last 2 years. I think it's been largely successful so far. It's been largely successful. There have been hundreds of dealers climbing onto the reputation management bandwagon.
Yeah.
And it's very, very nice to see. It's nice to see that dealers are taking their reputation seriously.
Yeah.
From a consumer point of view. There's been many, many dealers who have gone from 2.5, 2.6 star rating up to in the early 4s. Some people have gone up into the late 4s.
Yeah.
So it's been really good to see. And it's not been difficult to do when a dealership applies their effort, mind, and operational process to getting those ratings up.
The dealers that actually do the right things.
Yes.
In their processes. Yes, I agree.
Actually integrate the rating into the process of customer service.
Yeah.
There's one customer who has doubled the amount of leads of Autotrader's platform.
Doubled. Shit,
And
we're very close to, probably not double, but our lead count has definitely increased.
And that was overnight. So there's no doubt in my mind that ratings and reviews affected that customer positively.
Yeah.
In a significant way.
That specific customer, I see ratings and reviews this way. In the spirit of it's December and it's a day after Boxing Day. This is where you reveal your summer body to the world. This is where we see whether dealership dieted and whether dealership exercised throughout the year to be able to flex on the beach how good your ratings and reviews are. So that this specific dealer, because we had a dark launch two and a half. We've been speaking about this like forever.
Couple of months, yeah.
Yeah, and did this dealer already start, doing the work from the beginning, or did he recently jump on the bandwagon, as you said, and started working on his reputation, actively working on it?
So he's now actively working on it, but he didn't have a bad score
To start off with. Okay, got you.
So he's not the size dealership you are, but he's an average size dealership, 50 or 60 cars, and didn't have a bad score to start off with. Still now working on it even more, but didn't present his vehicles very nicely
in terms of quality of images.
Descriptions, which is important. And now we're starting to realize how important those things are.
Well, what dealerships don't realize is this is a marketing opportunity. I see this as a 10 out of 10 effective marketing opportunity. It couldn't be more effective. For example, I sent you a screenshot of a customer. Customer calls in and says, I'm interested in this BMW X3. I said, cool. But I've got an approval at another dealer. I said, great. That's good news for me because I know you can be approved. I'm like, shit, if they can approve you, I will definitely approve you. No problem. So let's start there. No problem. Sends the app, give him the VIN, video of the car, send him all the extras, the spec. By the way, which BMW dealer? So he gives me the name. I said, okay, cool. I go and search them on Autotrader. I screenshot, it's a 2.3 out of 5. And I said, sir, would you rather buy from a 2.3 out of 5 or from a 4.7 out of 5? Which one would you invest your hard in? Boom. And I'm not saying that BMW dealer is a bad dealer. It's just he hasn't worked on his reputation.
Well, I mean, we said it before, right? Consumers will naturally complain before they compliment.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're not working at getting the compliments out, you are going to be sat with the complaints.
Yeah.
By default.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you a bad dealership. It just makes you having dropped the ball on getting the guys who are happy to tell the other consumers that they are happy.
Listen, we're happy. We had a great experience. Yes. And it's just
nothing wrong with soliciting that out of the consumer.
Of course.
Because the guys that are complaining are probably the minority.
Yes.
But they're dominating your ratings and reviews.
But if those dealers don't catch up and catch on and wake up, then eventually I think it costs them big time.
Yeah, I mean, the dealer that has a less than ideal rating and bad reviews and doesn't address those reviews, that dealer is going to have to work disproportionately more on convincing a consumer to buy from them.
And I think the only way to do that is to be disproportionately cheaper, which Correct. You've taught me this. Everything that is fought on price eventually loses. It dies.
Yeah. So price is a race to the bottom.
Price is the race to the bottom. Yes.
Price is the race to the bottom. I think if we're talking about price, if a customer brings up price in your dealership, okay, I tell this to our sales team all the time. If a dealership brings up price with Autotrader, you as a salesperson have not articulated value.
Yeah.
Price only gets spoken about in the absence of value.
Yeah.
That's the only time price gets spoken about.
I teach a similar concept to our salespeople. When value exceeds price, customers buy. See it as a wave. Which wave is bigger? Is the price bigger? Yes, he keeps on bringing up the 200 Rand in installment or whatever. The other dealership, when the value wave exceeds the price wave, it just customer stops complaining about the price of buys.
The price isn't even an issue. Price isn't even a problem.
Yeah.
Price isn't even a discussion.
Yeah.
Because value is what is the dominating force there in that discussion.
Beautiful. Exciting. It's never been easier to actually choose a car because it's transparency in terms of pricing. Is this car cheaply priced, mid-range, and highly priced? If it's highly priced, is it justifiable? Is it because mileage is special? Is it because the spec is very high? Is it because it's very unique?
I'd rather buy a car priced high, justifiably,
Yes,
than buy a car low priced,
because there's that,
unjustified.
what's wrong with it, or why is it so cheap? That question's not answered. But if it's priced slightly higher and the question is answered, boom, good. Then layer that on top of, is this dealer's reputation good, bad, or ugly? So priced high, justified, great reputation. This is a car.
Exactly. Survivorship bias.
This is very, pay attention. This is very good.
So I'll read you the actual definition of Wikipedia.
Okay.
So survivorship bias or survival bias is the logical error of concentrating on entities that passed a selection process while overlooking those that did not. Okay. It can lead to incorrect conclusions because of incomplete data. So where they found this out was in, or should I say, where this was popularized was in World War II. The airplanes would come back from World War II, land, and have bullet holes in the wings, fuselage, and tail.
But they come back.
Yeah. Okay. And the engineers looked at the data, okay, and said, well, we need to reinforce the areas that have bullet holes.
Yeah.
Okay. The survivorship bias, which it came to be known as, is, but the airplanes that didn't come back, where did they get hit?
At the engines and probably by the cockpit where the pilot sits. Yeah.
So it turns out that the areas that needed to be reinforced on those aircraft were actually the areas that had no bullet holes.
That's where we need, because those never came
Those
back.
never came back. So the point here is that data is important, okay?
Yeah.
But quite often we look at data, but we don't see what we don't see. And it's the data that we don't see that sometimes is the difference between the life and the death of your business. Are you making decisions using the wrong data? Data that you can see and get your hands on, but it's not the right data.
So I want to
And
give
it's incomplete.
I want to give you, like in real time, this came to me now. Exactly on what you said. There's a young man, part of our cadetship program. I'm very proud of him. But he's got I'm not going to mention his name, but I've had this conversation privately with him. He's got his monotone, no
inflections.
Nothing. He's like, he should go and play professional poker. He'll do well. He's like poker face all the time, and he's young.
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
Young.
Okay.
Okay.
Got Asperger's.
No. He's just, that's the way he is. It's personality. He speaks in one monotone like this all the time. Doesn't get excited. Doesn't get sad. This boy is outselling. He's been here 4 months. He's outselling guys that have been here for 2 years.
Wow.
And I can't figure it out. So I go to the number one person. I said, why is this guy selling like as many cars as he is? He says, I don't know. He's very like the same all over and over. Then I go, and in my mind, as a salesperson, you have to be charismatic. Like my number 1 and 2 guys are charismatic. They're storytellers, and it's Louis Vuitton shoes, and it has to be seen, and it's a big watch, and lots of storytelling. I go and look at his data, the specific youngster. I speak to F&Is. Tell me about the quality of apps that he submits. Approved or declined. Everything is neat. So he was taught as a cadet that page 1 is this, then it's this, then it's the ID, then it's the pay slips, then it's the bank statements, then it's the proof of address. Religiously. Okay. Tell me about his applications to approval. higher than everybody else because the quality is better. So while I'm looking at the data saying you have to be charismatic and you have to speak well, so I'm listening rather than looking at what's important. Calm, monotone, the same with every customer, doesn't get complaints. He's just solid like a machine. Boom, 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 over and over, like a watch, ticking over the whole time. So it made me think, who else has a high quality of application, but maybe is not selling as many cars? Where previously I'd used to look at a salesperson this way. Sorry, I'm all over the.
No. I've got a theory as you're unpacking this that I want to maybe like bounce off you.
Okay, so previously I'd look at, okay, Eddie, 32 plus cars every month. Why does he do that? Well, he puts in 4.9 apps with docs per day, every day. It's just lifting heavy the whole time. What is his closing ratio? Average. Like he's not the strongest closer, very average, but he puts in the work. So lots of input to get that output.
Yes.
And he's got stamina. He just goes over and over, just heavy lifting. Whereas the number 2 person takes, I promise you, the least amount of leads. I'm like, take more leads, dude. Like if you took more leads, you'd have to find Absa to make way for the money coming your way. I can't handle more leads because the quality is higher. So now this is very important because what data am I actually looking at and looking for to get this boy improved? And this is what I'm going to do this year. The guy that takes the least amount of leads needs more help to do the support work. So another driver, a dedicated F&I person, and another cadet. So he'll have 2 more members, but I'll double his sales. I know I will. It's just I'll double his sales. Whereas the first one, how do I help him get more apps with docs in? Because he's reached his capacity. And each person is different. So this is very important. Sorry, you wanted to say something.
So in line with a survivorship bias, or the survival bias, right? So this young gentleman, monotone. Absolutely monotone. Not a good sales trait.
No.
Absolutely not a good sales trait.
Not at all.
So now you think to yourself, all right, why is he performing so well, right? The survivorship bias would say the reason he's performing so well is because he is monotone. Okay?
Yeah.
And I should get all my other salespeople to be monotone. Okay? So if you follow this the golden thread of survivorship bias.
Got you.
You got the data.
Yeah.
The data says monotone gets more sales.
Yeah, got you.
Okay? Everyone else, lose your freaking personality.
Lose the charisma, just speaking up.
Okay? What will happen?
Sales will go down.
Sales will go down.
Yeah.
For the rest.
100%.
Whereas the data you're not seeing, the engine shots, is his quality.
Quality, yes. Quality is perfect.
So the survivorship bias element there is get everyone else's quality up.
Correct. Because the guy doing 4.9 apps with docs, so 30% of my day is managing him and the F&Is. That's the truth. Everybody knows. They want to kill each other.
Yeah.
Because he just, on a group says, remove deposit, get the interest rate to this, and start signing, thank you. Then he ignores and that is, it's like throwing an atom bomb at the F&I office, my friend. Then I must go and say, listen to me. You're commission earners. You earn commission. If he sells more, do you make more? Yes. So handle it. Whereas if he improves his quality,
Yeah.
even 10%,
Yeah.
remains who he is, but improves his quality 10%, his sales will shoot up.
And then on the flip side, your monotone gentleman, imagine what he would do with a personality.
Yeah, I don't know how to teach personality yet, but he's still young. Maybe I'll take him to some movies and we'll go hang out together. Or get him to eat lunch with the biggest personality so that each one can rub off the good parts on each other. But I love the fact that it literally came to me now. It's his quality.
Yes.
When you speak to him, I'm even at a stage, because Anna-Marie had a big part of selecting we cut from 40 to 20 to 10, and then we kept 6 cadets from the last run.
Yeah.
And I said to her, why do you allow this guy between us? He's very flat. I can't get him excited. She says he does everything I tell him. This boy will be great. Trust me. And quality. Okay. Topic 4. This is your favorite topic of the day.
Love this guy or hate him.
Yeah.
You can't ignore him.
No, the world can't.
Ignore him at your peril.
Yeah.
Because he has changed and is changing the planet. Do you know that Elon Musk nearly died?
When?
So I'm busy re-listening to his autobiography.
I can't remember that.
Walter Isaacson. I missed it the first time.
Nearly died.
He nearly died.
Got
he
sick.
was hours from dying.
Got sick.
Yes. I'll tell you the short version in a sec. Nearly died. He took a trip to South Africa and Africa, and he got a rare strain of, I think it was malaria.
Jeez.
Went to the doctor. That's why I don't know if you've noticed.
He doesn't come here anymore.
He doesn't come anymore, but no, he had a couple of comments a little while back. He said, that place is still trying to kill me. Speaking about South Africa.
Africa is not for pussies.
He's not a pussy. He's 6'2" tall.
Not for pussies.
Not a pussy. So he almost died. So he went to see a doctor, felt ill, went to see a doctor, and doctor said he had, brain infection.
Geez, a brain infection.
Meningitis.
Yeah. Okay, yes. I think it's meningitis.
I think it's called meningitis. So doctor said he had that. Meantime, he had this rare strain of malaria.
Shit. So where did he get treated? In the States?
I think, I don't know. I missed that part. I don't think it said. Okay. So let me not say where. He had this rare strain of malaria. He was hours from dying, right? A doctor, an expert in malaria, walks past his ward, notices him, realizes...
This guy's got malaria, not meningitis.
Yes. Because this doctor had just treated 3 or 4 patients in the months before, and all of them died.
All of them died?
Yes.
Jeez.
Goes in there, makes the diagnosis, and Elon Musk lives. So, how close have we been to losing this man?
Probably, arguably, the most brilliant mind in the last couple of 100 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. IQ of,
I think
156 or something.
156, 157.
Something
it's
like
crazy
that.
high.
Yeah. Nonetheless, so one of the things about Elon Musk is his management style. Now, apparently, this management style very rarely exists today, and existed in the companies in the 1930s and 40s. Okay, what he does, so his modus operandi, if you want to call it, or his method of management is, he runs 3 businesses: Tesla, X, and SpaceX.
Yeah.
He visits those companies every week.
Each company, or does he spend a week?
No, each company.
Every week.
He cycles through them a couple of days. He might just do 2 a week or something, but he spends a few days in each. He has a routine. But it's what he does when he gets there that I think is the learning. Arrives at one of his companies and tackles the biggest problem that company has at that time. And it doesn't matter what that problem is. This is not ideation problems. This is problems that are occurring in the business. So whether it be
tech or operational,
whatever that company is battling with the most, he tackles. And he's relentless for the time period that he's there at solving that problem, or helping the team to solve that problem. And then he buggers off. Okay. And the other thing is he delegates 100% of what is working to everyone else.
Doesn't take part in that activity.
If it's working, he doesn't care about it.
So for me, what was most impressive, because I did the book probably a year ago, and what I can remember is he needs to understand everything about the problem himself, from the person working. I remember it was something to do with the glue on the Teslas where they got stuck. He doesn't go to the line manager to ask him about the problem. He goes to the person that's actually doing the glue part with a gun.
Yes.
Show me again. Why do you do this? What if we did this? What do you suggest? Understands the problem, fixes it there. Okay, this is how we do it from today.
Exactly right. So that's how he solves problems in the business. And whereas today's CEOs, today's leaders are a corporate mess, a corporate bureaucracy, because they've got management teams. I call them empires. Okay, they've got empires. They've got consulting degrees. Nothing wrong with consulting degrees if you're on the ground solving problems.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. And the way they solve problems is to tell the senior manager from on high, go and get your team to put a presentation together about this problem.
Let's show me.
Set a meeting and show me. I'll be back next week.
And that's why Elon kicks everybody's ass. By next week, it's already forgotten that it was an issue.
By next week, it's delegated to someone else because it's working.
It's working, yeah. Amazing.
So he tackles problems to the depth that you just described when he's in that company, and everything that is working, and I think this is the other trick, everything that is working,
he doesn't touch.
He delegates. That's other people's jobs.
Not interested. Until it breaks, or until it needs improvement,
or causes a bottleneck, or is an issue of some sort. He will then tackle that problem.
Love it. I've got like 100,000 problems I need to solve, and not as many weeks in the year.
You shared a text from me with Elon Musk and Larry Ellison.
Yes.
Earlier on.
So this is how in 6 texts. Yeah. 6 of them.
Only. Maybe Elsie can put that up on this on the screen.
Please. So
like over here.
So yeah. Here we go. So text one. Let me read it quickly. Elon to Larry.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can unpack this.
What was the context of this?
So
buying Twitter.
So Elon Musk texts Larry Ellison before buying Twitter in 2022. Text 1 says, this is Elon. Any interest in participating in the Twitter deal? ? And then Larry says, yes, of course. Thumbs up. Okay. Elon. Cool. That's text 3. So listen to how quickly it escalates. Roughly what dollar size ? Not holding you to anything, but the deal is oversubscribed, so I have to reduce or kick out some participants. Okay, this is
people wanted to invest.
Yeah,
he'd rather have Larry.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, relationship, and we'll get into it later. And then Larry says $1 billion ... or whatever you recommend. So my money is your money. I've got enough. What do you think is reasonable? Elon says,
how much do you need?
Yeah, how much do you need? I got your back, because whatever you touch turns to gold because of your work ethic. And it's called moral authority. You've got a proven track record that he's not doing it for the money.
No.
Where he wants to change the world. And then he says, whatever works for you, I'd recommend maybe 2 billion. So in 2 texts, we went from 1 billion to 2 billion or more. This has very high potential, and I'd rather have you than anyone else. Larry then says, I agree that it has huge potential, and it would be kind of fun to do it with you. Let's unpack that interaction, please, sir.
So what does it take to get $1 billion in investment? Because eventually
6 texts.
In 6 texts.
2 billion.
What did Larry Ellison eventually invest?
Can we check that? Larry Ellison's investment in Twitter, eventually.
So eventual investment. So, but let's 1 billion, 2 billion. What does it take to get someone to agree to an investment in a text string of 6 or 7
I always say it's not how, it's who. It's who sends you the text.
Yes, it's who. I mean, everybody knows Elon Musk. Everybody knows Larry Ellison. But do they know each other?
Yeah.
Because,
intimately.
like, you're one of our biggest independent customers, right?
Sure.
You can text me in the middle of the night.
Thank you.
And I'll answer you.
Thank you very much.
Why would I answer you?
We've had a close relationship. Since
It's not that close.
2021.
All of you.
But 2021 was, and I'll explain to everybody how it started. So the Autotrader rep comes to me and says, for this huge amount, it was still Rihanna. It was Rihanna. Mm-hmm. For this huge amount, we'll let George interview you and we'll cut it up. This is me making content and reels and everything. And we'll post the video on our platforms and it will be in the newsletter and you'll get to meet and spend time with George. But it's a huge amount. So what's the amount? She gives me the amount. I'm like, how many people signed up? She says, no one. I said, I hope it stays no one. But this is, in my mind, so to her poker face, I'm like, yes, Rihanna, that's a lot of money. In my mind, I'm like, is that it? Like, give me the paper, sign it, EFT. Now I have to meet Mr. George. And now it's been signed. It's documented. He has to come over because I've never met you up to that point. And you interview me. I'm like, wow, this guy. And then we invite you to have a speech at, do you remember that?
Yes.
With our salespeople. Yes. We still had a bar upstairs. Do you remember the bar? Everybody was sitting on the floor. There was like, the room could probably fit 12, 13 people, like 40 people in the room, like sardines. And that has just led on to more conversations. We've had arguments, debates, but it was always respectful and both are opinionated and, the best logic wins.
So, and I think that's the point, though, is you can't tell me that text was cold.
No. I think
they're homies.
Yeah. So Larry Ellison personally mentored Steve Jobs. Go and check that. Personally mentored the guy from Microsoft. What is his name? Bill Gates. And he was the synergist that brought them together to allow Microsoft to bail out Apple. Said, there's a space for you on the planet and there's a space for you. Don't kill each other. You have to coexist. And then that eventually led to that interview with the red chairs. You've seen that interview. Very good.
Yes. No, so I think the 6 texts, there is probably a room full of books before those 6 texts.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Else?
According to The Verge, Elon Musk got 1 billion from Larry and 7 billion altogether.
So 1 billion only from Larry. Is that because he didn't want to invest more, or is it because he had already promised stakeholding in the company to other people? That we won't know. We'll never know.
It was a cheapskate.
Or maybe a cheapskate. He's like, yeah, I can't do 2, but I can do 1. 2 is a bit stretched. Awesome. That's
sorry, Larry, you're not a cheapskate.
That's just in 6 texts. And what are the last 6 texts that you had with your friend? It just shows you network
is where the business is.
Yeah.
And physical network social networks, social media, electronic communication will never trump a physical network.
Agree. Part of my 2025 plan is to get within arm's length of 3 or 4 people. Each one will have a different effect on areas of my life. So one is for faith. For faith, I know who I need to get close to. One is for a different area, fitness. Every area I need to get within arm's length of a person that's very high in temperature in that realm of me trying to improve. And I know if I'm in close proximity, I will improve, even if it's a little bit. It will get my temperature up.
Networks are the key ingredient.
That was like one of the coolest things I've seen on social media ever. That 6 text exchange from 0 to 2 billion that eventually ended up being 1 billion. Sorry, people that are confused what the difference is. I saw this yesterday, so it's still fresh in my mind. How many days, months, or years is 1 million seconds?
How many days, months, or years is
a million seconds? Yeah.
Okay, so there are 86,400 seconds in a day.
Yeah.
So that means 10 days is 800.
Very high IQ right there. Very high. Very, very high.
So 10 if it's 86,400 seconds in a day, then it's 10 days would be then
11 days. It's 11 days.
Is it 11 days?
Yeah, a million seconds is 11 days.
Yeah, so I want to say it will be 860,000. So you got to add 1 or 2 days to get to 1 million.
Yeah. So how many days is 1 billion seconds?
Well, that would be then 110 days.
32 years.
10, and did you say 10 billion?
1 billion.
1 billion.
1 billion.
Okay.
32 years versus 11 days. That's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion.
And 1 billion.
Yeah. If you bring it into the context of time, 11 days to 32 years. It's a huge difference. And he was throwing around 1 billion or 2 billion, yeah, depending on what you need, just for some context.
So here's another piece of context. Elon Musk's net worth,
400 plus
billion rand, right? Okay. 2 data points.
Yeah.
1, Elon Musk could buy South Africa.
Yeah. With his net worth.
According
to the 3 companies put together.
Yes.
Could buy South Africa.
But here's a mind-blowing one.
You have to pay more for Pretoria North. I'll charge him double.
On the average South African salary, it would take you 15 million years to reach his net worth.
How old is the universe?
Exactly.
So from the beginning of time, if you didn't eat or drink or consume anything, if you saved from the beginning of time, you'd still be poorer than him. And he achieved that over, I think, since 2008. That was more or less when he was a couple of weeks from being completely flat broke until today.
Exactly. Got to take your hat off to him.
My man. Good. I enjoyed this episode.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Episode 10 coming in Jan.